Hey everyone, welcome to the Mr. Teacher, Mr. Preacher podcast and YouTube channel. This is Kevin, and I'm with you as always until Jake comes back to learn what lasts in athletics and teach and preach back to you, the athlete, the coach, and the parent. And this week, the week of July 17th, 2023, we have your weekly primer with the usual suspects of gratitude or the good, smack talk, media of the week, flow trigger of the week, and something that I, in this case, found interesting and have thought about that I'd like to share with you. Let's jump right in. We'll keep this one short and move forward. Gratitude, your weekly prompts of good. So again, this is a positive psychology basic, gratitude. And what we are looking for is giving you an immense variety of prompts that will eventually here turn into a game that you can use to habitually embrace emotions across different tenses and different types and even different points of view to train your mind to find the good in almost anything. So with that said, here are your 5 gratitude good prompts of the week. Number 1 is the extra large experience in the near past that had unhappiness. So it's an experience that was not fun. And it was a big deal, but there was good to be found in that. Number 2 is a tiny person. So maybe a smaller figure, not literally tiny. Somebody who played a smaller role in the near future from an objective point of view, just facts, that brought relief or relieved. Number 3, a medium experience in the near past that brought happiness. So something you did, it wasn't small, it wasn't huge, but it was like, oh yeah, that was great. It made me happy. Number 4 is one of those points of view as well. We'll get to that. Is a small experience in the far past. So something small that was done from an omniscient point of view. You can see, hear everything. Okay, so think you have the God view, omniscient, all thoughts, feelings, and every bit of it that brought fulfillment. So if you looked across the world and you were thinking of something small and an experience way back when, so decades ago, what would be something that would have brought somebody fulfillment that was good? Last one, number 5, is an extra large thing in the near future that is kind or would bring you kindness or come your way, or maybe even something you could give. Okay. So those are 5. You can post those wherever it works for you, or just journal on them. Usually we do, 1 a day is great. Some people do 2 to 3 things they're grateful for. I like to take one of these and turn them into a longer paragraph, really feel that emotion somatically in the body, and then journal about it and reach and find the good. So kind of a 50-50 approach if you're dividing up a page. Smack Talk, your weekly dose of smack. So Smack Talk is our spin on debatable topics and also just semi-interesting questions that you can ask of your team or of yourself as a coach or as a player, even as a parent, as you're riding in the car after a game, during warm-ups, posting it, so forth. You can learn so much about somebody in just a little bit of smack talk. The team that smacks together stays together. So these are some questions as I'm reading that I just had to ask. I'm curious about. So number 1, if you were to join a circus or a traveling show, what would be your act or role? Or what would be the best act or role to play? I said traveling because I think there's a lot of different types of shows that travel around. You can think of carnivals, you can think of music like bands, that would work too. But any type of show that you travel quite a bit, what would be your role in that? What would you want to do? Number 2, what brand or clothing item could you wear every day? Could be a single piece, could be an entire outfit. What are you going with? And this came from Jesse Cole, Mr. Yellow Tux guy himself, and Find Your Yellow Tux, the owner of Gastonia Grizzlies, or more famously, the Savannah Bananas. And he has 6 yellow tuxes. He wears every day of the week, basically. So what would you wear every day if you could? I know some famous entrepreneurs and and CEOs wear the same thing every day. It's a thing. So what would be your thing? What would be that outfit? I won't even push you past pajamas. Pajamas is a debatable answer. So number 3, something goofy or silly that you love. Another one that, as I read, on enthusiasm, just maybe it's a little bit out there. It's goofy. It's just silly, and it makes you smile. What is that thing? Number 4, what's your fun place? Where is your enthusiasm, where it goes up before, when you're thinking about it, during, and after? It's just peak enthusiasm. What does that look like? What is your fun place? What is that environment? There's a lot of environmental design in industriousness, and I think there's a lot of environmental design in enthusiasm as well. So be specific. Don't just say the lake. What does that mean when you say the lake? Fight for those details. Be specific. Debate. Why that place? Why that energy? Number 5 of Smack Talk, another debatable question, is a person, thing, or experience that always makes you laugh until you hurt. So it's one of those things that the joke is coming, or that scene is there, and you still laugh every single time. So what is that thing for you? It could be just a single comedian or an actor, actress. It could be a game, like every time I do this or somebody does that. It could be something you do. Might even be a friend. But what is the person, thing, experience that always makes you laugh till it hurts? Weekly Smack Talk, again, those are great at the beginning of practice, someone just to jab about as you're warming up. Great travel questions. End of the game, you can draw to and have 2 people stand up and share their answers. We did that this last weekend. It was hilarious just to hear what people said. We didn't debate back and forth. We just answered, but super fun. You can post them in your team apps. Cool to collect, as well as if you do them consistently across a season and learn just what people say. You learn a lot about people in just a short amount of time. The third part of our weekly primer is a movie and media of the week, your weekly viewing of enthusiasm. And in the past, we've covered Bananaland. I'm still working my way through Bananaland. That's on ESPN Plus, which I got to correct myself. That does require a subscription. There's no free trial. So I amend what I said during that week, the week of 7/3, July 3rd, because you need a subscription to see Bananaland. Then we talked about Patch Adams last week. Another way, laughter's great medicine. Love that movie. And this week I am catching up. This is just a great excuse for me to catch up on movies and media that I'm seriously lagging on, according to Jake, is Ted Lasso. Don't throw too many stones at me. There's too many shows to keep up with. So I've heard. But season 1 of Ted Lasso, Jake said, is must-see TV. And I am very excited to get into this. And I think it's duly appropriate for the theme and month of enthusiasm. So if you've seen it, do let us know your thoughts on Ted Lasso and enthusiasm and any takeaways you have. I'd be curious to read about them and learn more, especially in this context, because we've been looking at industriousness and master coaches and whatnot. And so to get a character like Ted Lasso is going to be a cool balancing point to compare and contrast, John Wooden of all people and Ted Lasso. It's funny to even say that in the same sentence. So I'm going to be digging into that. I got some catching up to do on my movie and media, but it's relaxing and it's fun. So check out Ted Lasso if you haven't already. And maybe you're like me and you're behind, but I'm curious to see what we can learn about enthusiasm from that first season. According to Jake, I'll see if I continue on into the future seasons, but at least the first season. Number 4 is your flow trigger of the week. Now, flow triggers, again, they are preconditions that lead to more flow, that optimal state of consciousness where you feel and perform your best. There are upwards of 22, 23 flow triggers known as of now that we can definitely pin down. And they come in two varieties or types. We have individual flow triggers and we have group flow triggers. Now, you could break them down further if you wanted it into internal, external/environmental, social, and then the creative. We also have that passion recipe stack, which bumped up the triggers quite a bit. Curiosity, passion, purpose, autonomy, and mastery/accomplishment is what I would say. But we have a group flow trigger this week called shared risk. So there is risk or high consequences within the internal triggers and the dopamine triggers, the environmental triggers. But shared risk is the group flow trigger. And essentially, it's just skin in the game where everybody has buy-in and you are going to win or lose or risk it together. You come up with an idea and a plan, and you put it to work and you take that leap, and it may or may not work out, but you're going down on the ship together, and hopefully you have some good music going along the way. So that is what you're up to, is try and take a shared risk this week. It could be a small group, could be your whole team, but collectively decide you're going to reach for something agreed upon and be okay whether you get it or not. And that really develops that group cohesion when you have that shared goal. That was another one we covered before. And shared risk. So not always is there risk with a shared goal, I would say. I mean, sometimes it could just be a completable goal. But as numerous people have said, when it's a little bit scary and you're putting yourself out there, that can bring the bonds together, win or lose. So try that out this week if it suits you and yours, and see what it does to your group flow. Good one for enthusiasm, because we're talking about finding your yellow tux and the energy bus and the power of fun and super better and more. Ted Lasso. It's risky to put yourself out there and be positive and to be goofy, to be silly, to be different, to be authentic. And I think that's what drives our attention and our focus. That's what flow triggers do. Drives our attention into the now and or reduces complexity. And I think that risk is one of those great ones where we can dial in on the moment more if we have that skin in the game. Number 5, what caught my eye this week as I was reading and pondering through the books and the content of enthusiasm was this idea of winning and fun versus winning or fun. And that we think that you can't have both. And I'm using winning in a very broad term at this point, but Jesse Cole and Find Your Yellow Tux and other readings and other viewings I've seen is that when you're positive, when you're enthusiastic, when you have more energy, positive energy, success, accomplishment, winning seems to follow. And you can talk the chicken and the egg all you want, because some people seem to be put winning or fun on the opposite ends of the spectrum. We'll win first and then it's fun, when you can have fun along the way and win. So I like this both and, or yes and, which that's a trigger we'll cover in the last week of July here, is probably the most important trigger for enthusiasm, is yes and, is this idea of winning and fun. And I would love to see more of this. Might have to be one we come back to with Jake. We're gonna have an entire episode of catching Jake up. This would be great. Noticing that, especially in the realm of youth sports, even all the way up through to college, making space for being different, being silly, making space for more fun touch points. Those are those peak dopamine moments that we are looking for that really do last. When we say, okay, what lasts in athletics? It is these moments that are different, that are fun, they're unique. And I would love more of that. I I love to win. I like working hard, and I needed the work smart section too. And this is another section I need, is finding that balance and the both, instead of working hard first and then get to have fun. And you can bake fun into everything you do, as we learned from Jesse Cole, or will learn in that debrief. So that's what I found that was interesting, caught my eye, and I wanted to share it with you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are going to be continuing onward each week with more of the same of this. Let us know what you like. Respond to a prompt. Let us what you know. Let us know what you think of any of those. And be sure to tune in any of the mini lessons, past or present, that we'll be covering from the industriousness section and or the enthusiasm section, which is what we are in right now. Be well, everybody, and never stop learning. See ya.